Joining us today for the West Virginia Mountaineers is head coach Randy Mazey, J.J. Wetherholt, Sam White, and Derek Clark. Any questions for coach and the student athletes? We'll start with Brian Peterson.
Coach, I wanted to confirm, did you guys have any sort of travel issues getting here, or is it smooth sailing?
It's never smooth sailing,
Okay.
and it never will be smooth sailing. But the more you can throw on our plate, the better off we are. So, yes, travel issues, but yes, advantage Mountaineers. That's what we like to call it.
What I wanted to ask you is if you could just go a little explanation of the decision to retire and how this season has been since that announcement was made.
Made the decision a year ago, and you never know how you're going to feel a year later after you make that decision. Ultimately, when you decide to retire, you're basically telling everybody that you don't want to coach anymore. And a year later, after making the decision, I told these guys the other day, a year ago I didn't want to coach anymore, but as I sit here today, I want to coach these guys absolutely, positively, as long as I'm allowed to. So not going to coach after this year, but I want to be around these guys a lot longer. So that's how I feel as I'm sitting here today.
Go to the back right.
This is for Derek. On Monday, Coach Maisy had said pitchers really like the heat when talking about this location. So being that you are one of these teams starting pitchers, just what are your thoughts about pitching in this type of weather? And then, of course, having the extended time off coming into this regional as well.
Yeah, having the extended time off was really nice. Just preparing the body, preparing the mind, getting ready, going into a regional. I mean, it's playoff baseball, everyone's 0-0, so going with that mindset into it. And it doesn't take too much to get ready in the heat, so a couple arm circles and get on the mound.
PJ.
This is for JJ. Last time you were here, you had a really successful series. What's it like for you to come back on this field and be ready for postseason and possibly moving on to the super regionals if you do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely exciting, especially coming back to a venue that we're familiar with. And I didn't think it was just me who played well last year. I think the team as a whole played really well. So it's just confidence for the returners and for the coaching staff to know that we've been here before. We know how the field plays, and we played well here. So it's just a comfortability thing. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we did last year. We got to come out with that confidence and play well this year.
Coach, how many of your regulars participated or were on the team the last time you guys played here, roughly?
Two of these guys. Sam had a great weekend here last year, too. Logan was on that team. Hussey was on that team. Probably more than half of the position players were on that team, and they were good when we came out here, but we played well when we were out here.
How much of an advantage, if at all, or less of a disadvantage is it to have played in this park, which has some strange dimensions, a little bit of elevation here, those types of things?
Yeah, it's good. It's like I tell the guys all the time, there's some golfers out there that just seem to play better on their favorite course, and when you actually have a field that you've played on and played well on, that gives you confidence to want to play again. So hopefully this is our favorite course.
So, JJ, that weekend was sort of you could possibly call it a breakout for the whole season. What was it about this field that allowed you to do that, or do you think it was something that you did in the off season? I know you played with Team USA and you played in the Cape Cod League. And what do you think it was that sort of propelled you to have the season you did last year and carry it into this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a combination of a lot of things. I think experience was huge. I mean, I've had 54 games played as a freshman, over 200 at-bats. So kind of building off of that, I usually said that I was just a little nervous freshman year. It's a new scene. You're trying to compete. You're trying to make your way into the lineup. If you're in the lineup, you're trying to stay. It's just a lot of pressure on yourself. And so I think after that, I kind of reflected and just saw some areas where I need to get better at. And a lot of it was just experience. Like I said, those games played and those at-bats. Went into summer ball with more confidence and playing more free and having some more fun. And then I carried that into the fall, our season practice. I think I just had a much better fall. And then, opening weekend was decent. I mean, it's kind of tough to come out, all hands on deck opening week out. Some people do it, but, I mean, I didn't. And then kind of just knew that I got a lot better and just had that confidence. And then coming here was just a great venue, I thought. The atmosphere was cool. It was a tough series. We knew they were good. And it kind of just gave me another reason to just get up for it. And, yeah, like you said, it was a really good weekend, and then was just able to carry that throughout the rest of the year. And now this year obviously is tough with the injury and everything, but we're back playing and feeling good and just excited to play with my guys.
Go to the back right here.
For JJ and then for Sam as well, after learning about the Arizona Regional that you all were coming here, do you go back and look at any of the tape or the box scores from last year's games to just jog the memory at all, or do you not look at that because essentially 2 full seasons have passed since and teams and everything are completely different?
I mean, I definitely haven't looked into it that specifically, but I mean, I pretty much remember everything. I think Friday night we won in like the 10th or 11th inning. It was like a dogfight all game. Saturday, I think we won pretty well, and then Sunday we got absolutely destroyed. So that's pretty much all I remember. And then I just know a lot of the guys played really well, and it was just a fun series.
Yeah, I mean, that was my first weekend kind of starting as a freshman, so that's probably a weekend that I won't really ever forget. Yeah, like I played pretty well, but for the most part, I remember kind of everything that happened. Like you said, Friday night we played really well. It was a really good game. Saturday we won I can't remember the score, but I know we won. And then Sunday we got boat raced. So, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's probably a weekend I'll never forget. But like they probably have a lot of new pitchers, a lot of new position players. They lost that Chase Davis guy, what was his name? And he was smacking stuff around the yard. I remember him. But other than that, I mean, it's a whole new team, whole new stuff. So
Back right again.
This is for both Sam and JJ, being that you two are part of the back-to-back regionals for this program, first time since the 1960s, able to win in different ways if you compare last season to this season. Just as two guys who are held over from last year, what do you think has led this team to be able to have that same success with as many new faces as it does this season?
Yeah, I think for us it was just a depth thing, and we got a lot of freshmen who are just mature beyond their years, and we're able to step up when we had guys out. As you know, we've had so many injuries across all the board, and just those guys stepping up and being able to play was huge for us. And so, you know, when I was out, when Huss was out, when Logan was out, we had new guys stepping in, and they did their job for us and helped us win games. And then when we were able to come back, you know, we kind of picked up some steam. And then even then, those guys going back on the bench with the experience they had now, some of those freshmen have close to 100 at-bats, and if it wasn't for some of us getting hurt, maybe they wouldn't have had that. So it just makes us stronger as an overall team. We have pinch hit situations where we can bring guys in now with 100 at-bats that will do a good job. So that was probably the biggest thing, is just experience and those guys working hard. It's credit to them.
yeah, I think a few years in a row with success, that would probably be a testament to the coaches for sure. I mean, we probably play more inter-squad games, whether it's snowing, raining, hot, anything. But, like, everyone on the team gets countless numbers of reps. Even our practices are really game-like. So I think freshmen being able to step up, like you said, carrying years, stacking years and stuff like that, I think that's a big testament to how we practice and how we go about things.
JJ, how many times have you stolen home during your college career?
I think that might have been it here. I think here was it. Maybe one other time. I don't know. I remember here for sure, though.
What do you remember about that play? What goes into stealing home successfully?
Yeah, I just remember it was like one of those games. It was just super back and forth competitive, and then we kind of just came to a halt, and like we had a couple opportunities. I remember we tried to safety, and I think we bunted into a double play, and it was just a situation. I want to say it was 2 outs, 2 strikes, and Coach Mazey and Coach Sabes, our third base coach, were kind of on it like the whole time. We thought the guy was pretty slow to the plate, and previously, like maybe as soon as I got to third base, I think I stole third. Coach Sabes was like, "Hey, like be ready to steal home." It was something we practiced before we got there, and yeah, the time just got right where Coach Mazey was like, "Okay, two outs, 2 strikes. Like why not try it and make them make a play?" And you know, I think it caught him off guard, and the throw was a little bit wild. The catcher wasn't too ready, and we were able to score, and that was the winning run. So it was really cool.
Sam, what do you remember about that play?
Yeah, I was on the bench. That was I think that was right after I got taken out of the game. But I had no idea it was happening. I noticed Sabes kept like kind of going up to JJ's ear, stuff like that. But I had just stepped down from the bench, and then I had a little window to look kind of at the catcher, and I saw a ball go like screaming by him, and JJ slid in and got up, and I've seen the video 500 times of you screaming and stuff like that. So that's kind of all I saw, but I remember sprinting out of the dugout right after that.
This question's for Derek. Your toughness and competitiveness are things that have been lauded about you. Where did those come from?
Just preparation, honestly. I mean, coming from where I came from high school, going to Northwood, and just trying to build off of that and just continue to get better day after day, year after year. And I think it's just built up over time. And especially with these guys around me, I mean, we push each other. I'm not with these two all the time, but the pitching staff especially, I mean, just we're always trying to be the best that we can be and just pushing each other.
For any of you, what are your thoughts about Arizona joining the Big 12?
You're going to be the only
I will not be here next year, unfortunately, but I think it's good for the conference and kind of expanding the horizon with the mega leagues is pretty cool to see. So the travel wasn't the best yesterday, so hopefully in the next couple of years it won't be like that. But at the same time, I think it's good for not just baseball, but for all sports across the board.
Yeah, I guess I don't think you'll be back next year, but
JJ's only a junior.
that's true.
It's true.
You had 4 years of college baseball, so.
I think it's really cool, honestly. I mean, like Arizona is kind of one of those teams where when I learned about college baseball, Arizona was one of those teams where it was kind of like, oh, they seem to always be at the top. And I think it's really cool that they're joining the league. Obviously, it makes our travel a little bit harder, but they're going to have to come to us at some point. So I think it's really cool, and I love it.
This is for the three players. With Coach Maisy retiring, just for each one of you guys, kind of a reflection and thought of what he means not only for you as a player, but as a person, as someone who was recruited by Coach Maisy 20 years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago. But what does he mean to you guys in your own words, not only as developing as a player, but also as a person?
I can start. I mean, it's been an honor to play for him. He's one of the biggest names in college baseball for coaching, and it's really been an honor to just play under him and get to know him as a person. And I mean, he's taught me plenty of life lessons over the past year, just how to be a man and just having those conversations, not about just baseball, but about life, talking about Wham, his son, and Miss Maisy and Sierra, and talking about my family back and forth. So, I mean, it's really been a blessing to play for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, so when I was getting recruited, all the recruits had dinner at Mais's house, and it was kind of like, that was my first time really ever meeting him, and kind of just talking to him, he reminded me a lot of like a high school coach that I had that I really looked up to, and I told my dad, I was like, I really see kind of like these coaches that I love in Mays, and it kind of feels like there's no really place I want to play or no other guy I want to play for, and yeah, these 2 years have been a real honor, and yeah.
Yeah, pretty much everything they said. I mean, the past 3 years have been pretty much the best years of my life. I remember coming here. Coach May is obviously a huge reason. There's a whole bunch of things, but I really wanted somebody who just had a ton of experience and cared for us as players, and I thought that was a great fit with Coach Mays. And like Sammy said, kind of do it differently where we actually go to his house a lot to eat dinner, which is so cool. Get to know his family so well, and I go fishing with Wham a ton. Just went fishing with him and Sierra, so it's really fun to just be around him. And he's taught me so much about baseball and life just in general. It's kind of like we say, built a friendship forever. We'll be fishing together, doing some stuff like that. It's really cool to play for somebody that you really want to win for, and he's that guy. So it's been amazing.
Is he a good cook?
Huh?
Is he a good cook?
I don't think he's cooked for us.
Deer meat.
Yeah.
Deer meat. Yeah.
What did I hand you the other day?
You still wouldn't
Oh, yeah,
tell me
you
what
did.
it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
It's deer meat.
He can do it, for sure.
He knows how to cook some deer meat, for sure.
All right, our last question in the back.
Coach, so one I guess for tomorrow, since learning you were going to play DBU tomorrow, what have you learned about that program and specifically this year's team?
I've known plenty about that program. You know, being at TCU for 6 years, that's the team you just never wanted to play because people from the outside of college baseball looking in, when they hear Dallas Baptist, they think, oh, that shouldn't be a problem. It's a real problem because they're really good. They've been really good for a long time. Coach Hefner is one of the best offensive minds in all of college baseball. Offensively, they've been so good for so long. And talk about a guy that gets the most out of his kids and the most out of his program. I've got ultimate respect for those guys. To be honest with you, they're the Grand Canyon of Texas because Grand Canyon's the same way. If people who don't know a lot about college baseball hear Grand Canyon, they're like, well, I should beat those guys. It's just not that easy. You have to play really well to beat these teams, and so it's going to be everybody talking about this regional being the toughest one. I literally think all 4 of these teams are very capable of winning this regional, which is fun. That's why you play in regionals. So if we come out of this one victorious, we will have beaten a lot of good teams.